Hampton and defense captain Mark Clark.
Yes.
I am invigorated and oh man, I'm so excited that to be able in this period to continue fighting for self-determination for our people.
Yes, ma'am. Free and privilege. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chairman. Before we get started, let's give out your contact information where you can be reached.
Yes, indeed. SaveTheHamptonHouse.org is the website. Also, we can be emailed at SaveTheHamptonHouse@gmail.com, and also Chairman Fred Speaks, Chairman Fred Speaks at gmail.com, Chairman Fred Speaks at gmail.com.
Yes, yes, sir. Right on, right on. Well, let's talk about tomorrow, December 4th, 53rd year anniversary of the assassination of our two twin towers, your father, Chairman Fred Hampton Sr., and, of course, Minister of Defense Mark Clark. Talk about the importance and the significance of that day that will live in infamy for our people and, of course, for humanity, my brother.
You know, it's even when you said 53rd, 53 years, sometimes it kind of I forget to put the time in context, like where we at with this. This be 53 years. As you just stated, the assassinations of two of our twin towers, and for those who maybe just become familiarized with this day and with this the significance of this, to really put this in the correct historical and political context. The way that Chairman Fred and Defense Captain Mark Clark, the way that they were assassinated, it was an act of terror. It was that had an impact that saying that for generations. In other words, a lot of people would say, well, I didn't know nothing. Even after this discussion after the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, people were saying, well, why didn't I know about this? And I told a lot of people, I said, are you prepared to really deal with that? I mean, because that caused some serious contradictions and questions about, why people didn't talk about this. And it's not because, it's just something we passed over. It was a strategic hit. The way they were assassinated, it was a major blow to the Black Power movement, in which this 21-year-old and this 22-year-old, these freedom fighters were took out. And every year, regardless of how cold it is, December 4th, regardless of how hot it is, August 30th, in particular those dates, we are right there at ground zero. Again, one of our September 11 stories, acknowledging the work of revolutionaries past and present alike. And I see those 2 days in particular, but I mean, I stay over there. Me and Mother Comrade, and we just were talking. Yes. When you said 53 years, we just commenting on flashback and on years in the past of us just being over there, literally by ourselves in the cove. Right there at 12 o'clock. Our brothers and sisters in prison, they stop what they're doing 12 o'clock. They put their fists in the air, and that's continuously attempt after attempt to hijack this. As Malcolm says to March on Washington, when the state can't stop it, they attempt to co-opt it, water it down, change it, make it something to be. And so, but the people have to develop their political muscle, their political will to distinguish legitimate legacies. From attempts to counterfeit. So again, we're gonna be out there. People we can work. We just got off the phone from the indigenous comrades, and in fact, Comrade Connor, who's with Tiny House Wars, you met before.
Yes,
they on the way here. Members of the Black Panther Party, they on the way here. Frederica Newton just sent of Dr. UEP News Foundation. She just sent a solidarity statement. Those in Africa just got off the phone from Africa. They've been commemorating this day too, because these were international legends.
Right. Yes, sir. Again, family, just tuning in and having a conversation with Mother Akua and jury, and of course our brother Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. tomorrow, December 4th. Of course, the December 4th movement in commemoration. Mother Akua, talk about, of course, what will be taking place tomorrow on December 4th.
Well, tomorrow we start off as we do every year for the past 50-some years. 12 o'clock, we'll assemble at our ground zero, 2337 West Chairman Fred Hampton Way. Some people call it West Monroe, but although the city council did not pass it, it's known throughout the world as Chairman Fred Hampton Way. That's at Western and formerly Monroe, right in front of the site. The same house is not there; it's a different house. But at 12 noon, we do a 5-minute fist raise silent vigil, and we ask people to stop whatever they're doing, wherever they are, and acknowledge the commitment and the dedication of Chairman Fred and Defense Captain Mark Clark and those who have given their lives in this fight. And those that are still incarcerated, too, that have dedicated their lives to the people's liberation struggle, Black Panther Party. And then we'll have, I'll do what we call a virtual tour. I'll invite people into the house, not the one that's there, but take them through when you come in through the door and what you'll see, and go through what happened on that early morning of December 4th, 1969. We'll have some solidarity statements. Chairman Fred speaks. There'll be a little Q&A. And then we're going straight over to DuSable Museum at 50, I don't have the exact, 56 in Cottage Grove, 57 in Cottage Grove. And we'll be showing the film Judas and the Black Messiah. It starts at 2:30. You can come earlier to the museum if you want to look around. And after that, there'll be a Q&A. Then from there, we're going over to the wall. In case people don't know, that's a beautiful mural that commissioned by the Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., myself and the Cubs, of Chairman Fred and, Minister Doc Satchel, and me holding Chairman Fred as a baby and that sort of thing. And at the wall, we'll be doing food giver, feed them all, feed them all, food giveaway. And then we'll have some photo ops, and then we're going out to Maywood, to the Hampton House at 804 South 17th Avenue in Maywood, and finish up there. Now, I'll probably be leaving early, so if people come over to the Hampton House at 2 or 3 in the morning, I will not be there. But other people will be there. They'll be there.
Yes, sir.
We'll be looking for people. And some of y'all, I got your names written down. You made a promise to commit you'll be there. So I'm going to be looking for you. All right?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
if you can't come, make sure you stop at 12 noon.
That's right.
If you're in the grocery store,
That's
raise
right.
that clenched fist and stand there for 5 minutes, remembering the work and the commitment of Chairman Fred Hampton.
Absolutely. Again, family, just tuning in and having a conversation. That's Mother, of course, Akua and Jury, and of course, joined online by her Panther Cubs son, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., as we're talking about December 4th. Of course, Chairman, we always touch down this time of year, so if you didn't hear from me between August and this, of course, this day, this phone call is coming. Is that right?
Let me speak to that, brother. Let me speak to that. I just was I was just coming how we was trying to so much stuff back to back. We getting the flyers ready like just this morning. But there are certain forces, there are certain people, like clockwork.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and we have to get to the stage. I mentioned earlier the political muscle, the political will. Like clock. I mean, without even no discussion. When the phone call, I'm talking about, I know what time it is. Even birds even know. Okay, listen, it's time to move south at a certain period. A certain time of year. And I want to commend you, brother. I mean, the consistency, and we it's like we have to have a like as we say, move in sync. And there's certain things when uprisings, rebellions, what happened throughout the country. It was certain. It wasn't no. It was least. It wasn't called a lot of conversation. We stick and move. As the old axiom goes: more work in peacetime, less work in wartime. And this can't be made light. This can't be made light of. In other like there's a lot of discussions. We on the heels of reactionary times, and I hope I'm not being idealistic. I hope that we come into revolutionary times, and that time is where certain contradictions are being exposed. Even in many cases from certain reactionary forces. You hear discussion about people talking about certain respective communities. A lot of people didn't know that they talking about like even like even within the Jewish community, they say it's a certain time of day that everything stops moving. You know what I'm saying? And everybody moving in sync. You know, and this like people say, what's the significant change? Why you say, well, why we got to be here at 12 o'clock? To be in sync, and certain times, when you see with people are called to put an economic hit, you know what I'm saying, on certain entertainers or shut them down. You didn't see a bunch of flyers go out. You didn't see a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of press conferences. It's like an aura, you know what I'm saying? It's like an atmosphere. Say, okay, back up, don't support this. You know what I'm saying? Without even being said. And we in the stage in the game. We have to get to the stage in the game that we know who is who. All this ongoing. Well, let's keep on trying to talk. I just had a struggle recently with some of our cadres, some of our forces, and I was we was talking about doing the events for tomorrow. And then some of the people, like even in Maywood, from the old, what they call the old regime, and they want to see through this bureaucratic red tape. We fortunately have some people now, you know what I'm saying, that open up, you know what I'm saying, to certain moves. And with some of these other forces, they were talking about, well, did you file this? Did you send in for this? I said, listen, keep stick and move. In other words, we ain't got all this thing about, well, we got to read some books to them and teach them, you know what I'm saying? We have to heighten the contradictions, you know what I'm saying? And people, they tell you who they are. They tell you who they're interested in. You know what I'm saying? And some people, that slavery is slave mentality is ingrained in their DNA. You know what I'm saying? And you tell them how many. And some people, it's because of a lack of even being in any contact with slavery that they can't even relate. Like I tell people, they did a DNA test on Puffy Combs. They said they could not find one. They couldn't find one example of nobody being a slave in his family. You know what I'm saying? And so you talking a foreign language to some of these people. You know what I'm saying? They have no concept of struggle. But again, I just want to commend and appreciate you, brother. And again, and it's not, and people can't take it lightly to be able to. We know who we can depend on. You know what I'm saying? And the proof is not in the pudding. The proof is in the people.
Yes, sir. Right on, right on. I want to get your thoughts on, of course, one of our other revolutionary comrades and elders, of course, being released from prison on December the 16th. And I'm speaking now, of course, of the godfather of Tupac Shakur, the Honorable Tupac Shakur. I want to get your thoughts on that, Chairman, and your thoughts on that, Mama.
I was going to say, ironically, I just got a phone call yesterday that someone supposed to be an event coming up tomorrow with some recently released political prisoner Sunday Adekole maybe present, and I was looking for, I said, so I'm riding on cloud million with that. The conversation about the pending release of Dr. Matula Shakur, and you come in, like you had these discussions come up. I really hold my breath until people to their feet hit the streets. In other words, and this is even in my case. I recall the day I was said to be released, and I remember saying that literally saying like until I hit that after I get out of the prison door walls, it wasn't until we got to a certain neighborhood that I really breathed a sigh of relief. So I mean, you know what I'm saying. So we got to really keep our guards up. You know what I'm saying, in regards to this pending release. In regards to Dr. Matula Shakur, you know what I'm saying, and it's bittersweet. Because we've seen cases in Angola 3 and others how I talk about even when we have cases of the people that they exonerated, and I see how the system, how they strategically move, how they take us from our communities and our during our reproductive years, so on and so, and also this had to be. I mean, not to be. I don't sound as a pessimist. We looking forward to this release, you know what I'm saying? But it's just it's disheartening also, So I don't know people familiar with the health condition that he's dealing with, and we've seen this in so many other previous cases. But again, we open arms, you know what I'm saying? Welcome. We say welcome Black, you know what I'm saying? We look forward to welcome Black to the community, but also don't never. This system is Machiavellian, you know what I'm saying? We have to be as Franz Fanon said, to accept the concessions, but never compromise our principles. So we looking forward to this day. However, keep our guards up, you know what I'm saying? Because I mentioned the indigenous community earlier. There's an old saying with the indigenous community: white man speak with forked tongue. You know what I'm saying? So so let's. I mean,
Right on.
we looking forward to this release, but again, you know, and we excited. We excited, but again, make sure that it's not a period, but it's a comma. That you know what I'm saying. That you know what I'm saying. What he was subjected to, the lack of health care, all this must be inclusive in that, and it's not to be in a demoralizing way, but just to give an objective historical analysis of what this system, you know, what it does and how it operates, and so we don't, you know, so we don't have, you know, we don't come in. A lot of people have a reactionary response. I can't believe the system done this. So you know, so just keep that in mind. But again, in essence, you know, I want to preface with this: open arms. We're looking forward to the release of Dr. Mutulu Shakur. You know what I'm saying? So in fact, free Dr. Mutulu Shakur, free them all. But again, you know what I'm saying? Make sure we keep our guards up.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right
Brother
on.
Cool?
I agree with everything that Chairman has said, and I want to say, especially with our beloved Sundiata
Yes.
having been released,
Yes.
all I can say is let you know what he wants and what he wants to do. Everybody got a whole list of shit they want to dictate to somebody what they need to be doing. This man been incarcerated forever. If he want to sit back in a room and be quiet, leave him the frick alone.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand?
Absolutely. Yes.
Whatever
That's
he
important.
wants to or needs to do, let him tell you. Don't try to. This man has suffered being incarcerated all this time. So listen to what he say.
That's right. Absolutely. Ken family just tuning in, having a conversation with Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. and, of course, his mother Akua, and during tomorrow, marking 53rd year anniversary of the assassination of our two twin towers in the Black Panther Party and our struggle, and Chairman Fred Hampton Sr. and Minister of Defense Mark Clark. Before we wrap up, I want to talk about the importance of us, as you always say, Chairman Fred, of course, in terms of protecting the legacies, respecting the legacies, never ever neglecting the legacies, and doing our part to teach our young people about COINTELPRO, because there was COINTELPRO then, but there's COINTELPRO now that's going down as well.
Right
So
on.
speak to the importance of that, my brother.
It's important, you know, that we, in regards to a legacy in particular. In fact, we say a legacy is more important than your life. It's important that we cross the T's and dot the I's. I was talking to a young sister, and I was just in Gulfport, Mississippi, and I just left Alabama, and I was Gulfport, Mississippi, and there was a case. There is a case, Jaheim McMillan, 15-year-old, who was gunned down by the police in front of the Family Dollar. And we pushing for Family Dollar to release the footage. And the sister had a lot. I mean, she has a lot of organizer potential. And I was recognized that even the youngster, the discipline she laid out, and there were others, Jacob Blake, Breonna Taylor, auntie of Breonna Taylor, Sister Bianca, and other family members of those of victims of police terrorism. And the young sister, in all sincerity, we was dialoguing, and and it was a liberalism that we acknowledged with her. And she was talking about, like, where people, talking about the importance of structure, the importance of different dynamics. What is the Black Panther Party? What what are political correctness, but not engaging in dogma or elitism. And not that we get caught like, well, we let certain things slide just because there are certain pros and certain people coming in with certain work ethics, and they bring a certain energy. But the deal is, and I think we lower the bar, especially when we talk about the youth. You would say, well, they're young, but you put in context into the Black Panther Party. So we talking about a group of brothers and sisters who basically range from ages 14 to 24 years old. Who combated liberalism. You know what I'm saying? And we have to hold. We capable of of structure. We are capable of it, and because a lot of times people there's many people relate to this under intense times. You know what I'm saying? But the deal is, the vanguard can never compromise the line. In other words, even when it's not popular, you know what I'm saying? We have to remain consistent. Because there's certain even Ye, formerly known as Kanye, he said himself, he couldn't relate to George Floyd. He said it wasn't until that 2 days that blatant situation. The $2 billion to be snatched from him. He said, I felt like a foot was on my neck. He had his own mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, you look at certain situations, certain things are necessary, because some people come from such a deficit They are so much in the red of being black. In other words, they are so much a detached from the black community that you know what I'm saying. That it's been going on for generations, and you can talk. You can give them all the green juice you want to. You can give all the books you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like they are incapable of relating. So it's like a recipe. It's a combination of not only that seasoning. It's a combination of that heat. And when them Yankees put their foot on their pressure on, you see people we say people get involved in struggle or they become conscious one of three ways: inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. And there's certain things that we have to hold on to. And you know what I'm saying? I've had a lot of struggles with a lot of different forces. I refuse to be liberal about anything ranging from the quotes from Marcus Garvey to the colors of the flag, the order the colors go into. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panther Party. A lot of people say, well, let's just do this and that. I said, no. That, you know what I'm saying? Like a stern auto mechanic who knows if you be liberal when you come in about where the transmission goes, the engine goes, and you say, well, it doesn't. He know that this ride, especially if it's a van, if it's a passenger van, there's not only one person. It's different if that one person's going to be riding in that car. When you talking about something that's going to have children in it, you know what I'm saying? It's going to impact people. You say it can cause this van going to be on the expressways. We talking about a legacy that on the international level. And you talking about era add another ingredient to that. You talking about social media. You know what I'm saying? I remember we had to go shut a whole, we had these cats, they about 23, 25 years old. They were saying they were Black Panthers. I said, these cats younger than me. And I went to these cats, I say, do you understand simple contradictions? Just the fact of you saying with a shirt on, you have a photograph of you with cell phones on. They said, well, what's the big deal? I said, let me explain to you the big deal. You're taking away with your own subjective position, you're taking away from a legacy of an organization that in Chicago alone fed a minimum of 3,500 children a week without no social media. You feel what I'm saying? Without, you know what I'm saying? You see, what may be, so if you add it's not a big, like that for a child to say now they have 5,000 friends. That's not no big leap. As opposed to someone 15 years ago say, I got 5 friends so I could, you know what I'm saying? And see, what may be like I tell people, with certain moves, like I told Ice-T on the interview one time, I said, yeah, I disagree a lot of things with you, man. I said, but I respect that interview you did with Arsenio Hall. When you sat on that couch and they had showed a picture of Ice-T's the clothes he was wearing, and the whole audience they erupted with laughter. He simply asked, what were you all wearing around that time when you came to see me? Everybody got quiet. So you have to put stuff in context. You start talking about different dynamics, you know what I'm saying? I tell people, I say, man, the stuff that we're doing, I said, we don't, the Panther Party, Malcolm, were able to go live, the whole different, I mean, people to see that. In fact, the state said a major mistake they made with Malcolm X was giving him media exposure. They said it.
Right. Yes, sir.
They said a major mistake they made was letting him get media exposure.
Right. Yeah. As we begin to wrap up, I want to get your thoughts on that, because one of the other significant dates of December is December the 8th, in which the King family, who was represented by attorney William Pepper, had that historic verdict, which came down December the 8th, 1999 in the Memphis courtroom, which, of course, it was found guilty that the United States government, through Operation Lantern Spike, along with, of course, agent provocateurs, and, of course, the United States military, and those in Dr. King's inner circle, from Jesse Jackson to Billy Cowles to Ralph Abernathy, were part of the team that worked to shoot Dr. King on the balcony, and then ultimately they killed him when he got to St. Joseph Hospital. But every year we have the conversation about Malcolm X, and I always say that the family, the Shabazz family, should consider doing just as the King family did with attorney William Peppers, to bring all of that to court so that you can hold all of those that were responsible for the assassination of Malcolm X. I want to get your thoughts on that.
When you first said December the 8th, I thought a significant date also in regards to the case of long-held political prisoner Mumia Abu Jamal. And
yes.
Also, I was looking at, I forgot this guy's name, Moore, I forget his last name, but they say it was another individual that posed the photograph of Dr. King being assassinated. This other individual was a young person, his last name started with an M, I believe, and he has CIA connections. And I said, the deal is we have to. Exactly. Yeah, right on, brother. You on it? Yes.
Yeah, Maury McCullough.
Yes.
McCullough, yes, sir.
And I mean, this was, I had heard this before. It's like a book, like a Tupac song. You still, the climate is also important. It's like I tell you, like a relationship. People say, well, when did you meet this person? What was the ambiance like? What was the lighting like? What was the music like? So even the climate has to be, we have to set the climate to fact that for lawyers to have certain discussions. So because other than that, the political pores maybe not be too premature. The political pause may be too premature to grasp certain stuff. So, a lot of people can't even, including myself, can't even fathom certain things. So we have to heighten it's on the movement. Just in heighten from the ground up, the heighten the contradiction, so we can have a different sort of athlete, a different sort of lawyer, a different sort of discussion, this sort of relationship. So we can even, because other than that, it can be put out there, but it can fall on deaf ears. So that, like a lot of us, this system is even capable, and you see the machinery of this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like even even came out even the assassination of Dr. King, the role of Ernest Withers, the photographer. You know what I'm saying? See, his role to FBI, and so the deal is we especially forces such as ourselves. I'm saying this humble. I'm not saying this on the ego tripping thing. I'm saying this. We have to be clear. A lot other like certain reactionary forces can afford the quote unquote luxury do one hit and quit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ye can say certain things and back up and go back and say, okay, but there's certain forces of the system, no, they're not playing. You feel what I'm saying? So the deal is we have to look at this more, you know what I'm saying? We have to because we never would know all the different dynamics, but heighten the contradictions, they're our best resource, that being the people. They can come in with more and more information. The Black Panther Party see the information is raw material for new ideas. Once we take away see our mind frame, our way of thinking, so we can see certain things. Damn, you know what? If this person done this, what was the fire department? See, they have us so trained. The music industry now, people never talk about who the history of Adidas gym shoes. We just took it for granted. Like that's just what it is. So even the assassinations is we don't even believe that we worthy that nobody will put together a machine. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? The sanitation workers would black fire department workers would say, here's your day off today. And you know what I'm saying? So wait a minute, they say Dr. King was assassinated. The name of Malcolm X, Gene Roberts, you know what I'm saying? The individual, right, the close vicinity, in his history. And the deal is we have to heighten the contradiction so we objectively, you know what I'm saying? And not just come in with this subjective, like I said, one of our things with the William O'Neill contradiction was William O'Neill was not the only agent of Couture. You know what I'm saying? Right. And also, like I asked party members, I said, what was the climate like when O'Neill was around? It's what it did, it brought out even dormant contradictions in others. You know what I'm saying? Those who may have been liberal, those who, you know what I'm saying, who egos and jealousy, who at any given time they can trigger it, and it has been triggered. You know what I'm saying? Who may not because they didn't get directly call them and say, listen, you on the payroll. They have a psychological profile on certain individuals, and deal. We have to, in service of the people and service of history, we have to heighten these contradictions so that people can be able to recognize these traits, check them, and see a structure. It keeps dynamics. You know what I'm saying? It keeps you know what I'm saying? You can still have those contradictions. It's kind of like they talk about like a alcoholic. People say, well, are you cured? He said, no. The person, no. I know to stay away from bars, liquor stores. He says it's still an alcoholic, but he checks it. So the forces we don't know. Some forces were inbred with opportunism. They come around. They grew up in certain conditions where they had to be cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? To quote unquote survive. So who are we to come and say we're gonna come and cure you from that? I tell people all the time. My last name is Hampton. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't want to interrupt, but
yes, sir.
We got about 3 minutes, so I want to get closing comments from Mama.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
Closing comments.
Yes, sir.
So we'll start with you, Mama. Closing comments.
I want to thank everybody that has continued to support then and now. And I want everybody to stop. Just stop. Can you imagine the message at 12 noon Central Time and just raise a clenched fist in memory of Chairman Fred Hampton and Defense Captain from Peoria, Illinois, Mark Clark. And I want everybody, Chairman has given out all the contact information. support the work that we doing. You ain't got to be no revolutionary, but you have to support this movement in our fight for self-determination. And I hope people are doing that.
All right. Free them all. Quickly, Jim, closing comments.
Free them all.
Love you, mama.
Free them all. Let's revolutionary appreciation, my brothers, always. Let's put in the context who we fortunate to have on the phone with us also. Let's put in the context that she just turned 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? I mean, days prior to that. I mean, I be to my baby showers and morning sickness and the different dynamics to be taken to jail and to still be here. So those who can't come out there and see her. I mean, through cold and corona, the conditions, the capitalism, cold coronavirus. This comrade, she's held in line. So tomorrow, 12 o'clock, she's gonna be right there. If you can donate, Cash App, $ Save the Hampton House. Go to SaveTheHamptonHouse.org. Go to the donate button. You know what I'm saying? PayPal, Chairman Fred Jr. At Gmail via PayPal. Whatever support you can, come out there and support again. Revolutionary love, respect. International Revolutionary Day, December the 4th. Man, protected, respected, never neglected. Power to the people. Long live legacy. Chairman Fred, the Fiscal Lamar Clark.
Power to the people. Long live the legacy. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Mama. God bless. I'll
Thank
be in
you.
contact with you now.
Yes, indeed, brother. Thank you.
Again, just tuning in.
Right on. Free 'em all.
Just concluded our conversation with Chairman.